What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's going on?
What's up, man? Yeah, I'm here to give an argument against Christianity.
The mustard seed dilemma?
I'm here to run it, man.
All right. What's the issue?
All right, Bear. Do you mind me asking you, if I were to say that the mustard seed is the smallest seed on earth, would I be making a true statement or a false statement?
I don't know. Depends on what you're saying. Like the context.
Okay, what are the options?
Like if I say, for example, you're the stupidest person on earth, and I'm serious about that, am I making an actual like true claim, or am I actually giving some sort of like exaggeration of how stupid you are?
Well, yeah, it depends if you're positing a hyperbole or if you're positing a literal claim.
Oh, okay. So then the context does matter. So you agree?
Yeah, the context does matter. Of
Okay,
course,
cool.
Let's get to the context. So when we go to Mark 4:31, is the surrounding context literal? Does it talk about a seed bringing forth a large plant? Is that something that really happens?
Are you making the claim that it is literal?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming you would know if seeds grow into plants. Do you disagree with that?
Wait, hold on. I thought we were talking about whether the context means that it's literal or not.
Yeah,
are you making the positive?
Reading, that's correct.
Oh, it does. Okay. Why? Why should I accept that it's going to support a literal reading?
Because Jesus is giving a parable, and thus he is explaining a parable. Okay, he's explaining a parable with an analogy of something that is concurrent to reality. Right?
What is a parable?
So
how is him giving a parable relevant to whether this is literal or not?
Because he's explaining a parable. So when you explain a parable, you don't explain with another parable, do you?
Wait. So you're saying that because he's explaining a parable, this means it's literal?
Yeah, because all of the surrounding context regarding his explanation is also literal.
Okay. So
Jesus
what?
says
So
that a seed is planted and it sprouts.
So that's what I was asking. That's what I was asking,
Jesus said,
brother. That's what I was asking.
Let me answer.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. Because I don't think you're understanding my question. I don't think you're understanding. I don't think you're understanding my question, bro. It's so funny how quick these guys go to rhetoric, man.
What's going on?
Hey, listen to. You're not understanding my. You're not tracking my question.
You cut me off.
This is so cringe, bro. This is so cringe because you're not tracking my question. You're not tracking my. Oh my god,
what is this?
Dude, the rhetoric is so cringy,
They're muting me already. Yo, this is bad, Bear.
Yeah,
Bear, what are we doing?
King, I want to continue the conversation. Can you stop?
Running away.
Can you stop being a little kid, please? Can you stop? I want to continue the conversation. You're not actually tracking what I'm asking. So what I'm asking is, initially I asked, how does the context tell us that it's going to be literal? Your response to that question was that he's giving a parable, okay? That begs the question still. I said, why does a parable mean that this is going to be literal? Then you said, well, because he's explaining the parable. Still begs the question, why is explaining the parable mean that it has to be literal? Then you went back to, well, because of the context. Okay, bro, that was my initial question. What about the context tells us that it's literal? Please answer. Track what you're saying, dude. You're going in a circle.
Before you started panicking. So, as I was saying, the surrounding context in the explanation are all literal statements. For example, when a seed sprouts forth into a garden plant, the birds literally come and perch on it. The seed is literally planted. The seed literally grows. All right? And now, usually when we give explanations of parabolic statements, we give real-world analogies. For instance, if I say...
usually meaning not in every case? When you say... Wait, hold on. One second. When you say usually, do you mean in every case?
Probabilistic.
And when you say usually, what do you mean by usually?
I got you. I'm answering you. So when we go into textual interpretation...
You just contradicted yourself. You're actually cutting yourself. You're actually cutting yourself.
Mid-answer, this is crazy.
Because I want you to clarify something. I want you to clarify. What do you mean by usually? Because you're now giving me an argument and you're saying, well, usually when you do this, you do that. What do you mean by usually? Because normally the word usually is used in a sense that it's not in every case. Is that true or not?
I'm telling you now. When I say usually, I'm talking about the most plausible interpretation of the text that is before us.
Okay.
We don't just go off of possible readings, because anything is possible to be derived from the text. No, we go off of plausible readings.
Okay.
So when Christ gives us an explanation of a parable, and the way we usually see that in reality is that we explain parables with literal statements. For instance, I could say, I am like a lion, which is the fastest animal on all of the earth.
These guys are so bad.
So now this would sound ridiculous unless my statement was actually concurrent to reality. So now
But
So
you're
When
proving off
Jesus-
that.
hold on, I mean, hold
Now
on.
Jesus-
Hey,
all
King
right,
Dawah,
all
one
right,
second,
man.
one second.
Now
I gotta stop you because you're still going around in a circle, dude.
Oh my
You're
God,
not
this is
actually
terrible,
answering my
brother.
question.
Let me-
One second, brother. One second.
Why you run- this is the fastest-
One second, dude. One
the fastest
second.
you ran, brother.
1 second. So you notice I asked you, what do you mean by usually? You're saying what is the most plausible? So you're saying I am bringing an argument that this is the most plausible explanation. Brother, all you did was restate your claim in a different word by saying it's the most plausible. That's what I'm asking for to begin with. By what criteria or what evidence are you using to say this is the most plausible and why? Please explain.
Perfect. I already told you. Firstly, because the surrounding context of statements are all literal in the analogy.
And why does that mean it's more plausible? And why? Now you got to explain why does that mean? Why does that mean that this is the most plausible?
Yo, why are you cutting me off?
Because you keep repeating the same thing over and over again.
That a mustard seed has you crashing out. Let me.
Holy crap. King Dawah,
Yo, this is
chill out, bro. This rhetoric stuff. Listen, brother, I know you're auditioning for the Dawah. I understand you're auditioning to be the next Dawah guy. You want to be in the realms of Orthodox Muslim and Korah.
Can I finish my sentence?
Brother, listen, I'm not a big enough person for you to get a clip on, for you to become famous or whatever. You need to go aim at other people. Okay.
You're definitely big. Hold on.
Now here comes the insults. Now,
Let me speak,
pay
bro.
attention.
What do you mean?
Pay attention because I want you to listen to what I'm saying. I don't want you going around in circles, dude. It's making me dizzy. Okay. Once again, you said, I got you. You said in the context, they're giving literal statements. Therefore, this means that this one has to be literal. I want to know, why does that follow? Why does that statement now objectively needs to be literal just because of the other context? And show me what the rest of the context shows that is literal, please.
Bear is panicking right now. All right, let me speak. So as I said, in conventional language, when we explain
Whoa.
confusing
Hold
or
on.
hyper...
No. I'm not going to let you smuggle in. Hey, because I'm going to stop you every time you try to smuggle something in. Brother, what are you saying according to conventional language? What does that mean? You're not going to smuggle that in, dude. No, not if you're going to smuggle that in. Not if you're going to smuggle that in. What is conventional language? What is conventional language?
What are we doing?
Oh my God.
Let me speak.
This is mad cringy, bro, with the rhetoric. You can't even talk to these guys. Conventional language. What do you mean by that?
Yes, our everyday usage of terms and sentence structures.
Do you talking about
All right,
us?
so let me
Us today?
Let me.
Us today?
Oh my God.
Us today?
What?
Are you talking about us?
Yes, in common language. Yes.
Oh my God, dude. Do you think our
And
language
we see
today?
this-
Do
let
you
me
think our
speak.
language today is this?
I'm
Do
telling
you think?
now,
Hey,
I'm telling you.
King Dawah, I'm gonna drop you for a second because, bro, you can come back up if you stop the rhetoric. This is a dialogue. This is not a time debate where you get to monologue for 5 minutes and say nothing. We're going to go back and forth. I'm going to stop you to clarify certain things because this needs to be done. You're welcome to come back up if you're willing to have a dialogue. Brother, do you think we speak the same type of language as they did in the first century? Is that what you're saying? Is that the assumption in this argument that I need to accept? Please answer that question. So the question for him now is, why are we assuming that the first century, they're using the same type of everyday language 100% as we do today? Go ahead.
All right, I got you. Now, Bear asked a good question. How do we know
Now,
Jesus is
now it's a good
explaining this
question.
parable in the-
Now it's before I was panicking. Now it's a
Let me
good
speak.
question. Thank you.
Let me
Yeah.
speak. Let me speak. I was addressing your question before you dropped.
I was panicking before when I asked this question, but now it's a good question.
Yo, this is terrible, bro. You're not gonna let me speak?
I just think it's funny
All right,
how
so
quickly
as I
that
was
switched.
saying-
But go
as I
ahead.
was saying, that's great, man. All right. So, for example, in Mark 4:26 and the parable of the growing seed, we see the same thing. Jesus talks about the kingdom of God, and then he draws to something that happens in reality, which is concurrent with reality. A seed is planted and it grows and sprouts. We see in Mark 4:30, 30 to 31, Jesus says the same thing. When it comes to the parable of the mustard seed, we see the exact same language being used. He gives the example. He says, "What shall we say of the kingdom of God? it is like a mustard seed. The same way before he says, the kingdom of God is like a seed which is planted. So again, every time Jesus explains his parables in Mark, in Matthew, in Luke, he gives you the analogy being drawn, and then he gives you a literal set of events that follow in reality. Okay? So that's the first fix.
That doesn't answer my question. 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 Stop. That doesn't answer my question. That doesn't, brother, this is not a time debate. This is not a time debate. I'm going to address what you just said. I'm going to address what you said. I'm going to address, once again, now I'm panicking. Now, notice I'm panicking right now because I want to ask a question to clarify, but when he hears the question, he's going to say, actually, that is a good question. And now he's going to answer it. Notice I'm panicking because I'm trying to clarify. Brother, why does that follow? If I grant you that all of those things are literal, and now why does that have to objectively mean, and I would need a justification for this, that verse 31 has to be literal now too? Go ahead.
I got you. So you're telling me that Jesus has a way in which he speaks.
I'm not telling you anything. I'm asking you. I'm not telling you anything. I'm not telling you anything. I am asking you to justify why this is, holy crap, dude. This is so hard. Yeah. And I remember, you know what the funny thing is about this guy is? I remember when this guy used to be able to have good conversations. I remember when he used to open up a live and people used to actually be able to talk to him, and he was actually able to have a dialogue. It wasn't until he tried to audition for like the Dawah clan that he started to turn into maximize the rhetoric. Yeah, King Dawah, I didn't say anything. I'm asking you're making a claim that because the previous statements are literal, this means verse 31 has to be literal. I'm asking you for a justification for that, why we need to accept that to be true. Go ahead.
I got you, my brother. I got you.
No, you don't. We'll see if you got me. If you're not answering that question, I'm gonna stop you. If you don't answer that, yeah, exactly. If you don't answer that question, I'm gonna stop you. So go ahead and answer actually repeat back my question so that I know you're tracking.
All right. All right, perfect. You said just because we see in Jesus's language consistently throughout the Gospels, he does draw parables. That's
not what I asked.
That doesn't mean.
Let me stop you there. That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. Let me repeat the question again. Where'd he go? Did somebody drop him? Come back up. Hey guys, don't drop him. I don't know who dropped or what, but don't drop him.
Brother, you dropped me. What the hell?
I did not drop you, dude. Anyways. That was not the question. I'm going to repeat back the question. Just because the previous statements, if I grant you that the previous statements are literal, what is the justification that verse 31 has to be literal? Please answer that.
Oh my God, that's literally what I just said. You said, "Yo, is this guy slow?"
Oh my God, dude.
Exactly what I let's do the
replay. Let's do the replay.
Okay,
now you're going to be quiet. Let's see if this is now I did drop you. Now, Chad, tell me, did he repeat back literally my question, or was he talking about parables in all of the Gospels? Put a 1 in the chat if he did not do that. Put a 2 if he did. Holy crap, dude. And he's still holding 10 toes that he repeated exactly what I said. Holy, bro, I want you to say, Wallahi, you repeated exactly what I said. I want you to say, Wallahi, you repeated back exactly what I said.
Verbatim, brother. You think I'm a robot? I repeated.
Thank you very much. I want you verbatim to repeat back my question. I want you to verbatim to repeat back my question.
But this is crazy. Why are you dodging the argument, brother? Let me speak. What's wrong with this guy? All right.
This is so crazy, bro.
As I was saying, you already granted me that in Jesus' examples that he gives, more commonly, or at least 90% of the time, he draws literal examples away from the parable in order to explain them. Okay? So thank you for granting that. Now, the big issue for you is...
No. Wait, hold on. You still didn't answer my question. You're not answering. You're not shifting. What's the justification that we need to accept?
Let me speak, bro.
I'm going to have to drop. This is crazy that you can't have a conversation with these guys without this, this cringy rhetoric that they keep trying to do. And they're shifting the argument and then gaslighting you into thinking you're the one that's running. Brother, answer this question and stop running from it. What is the justification that we would need to accept that verse 31 has to be literal? You said because of the previous statements. Why? Why is that a justification? That needs an explanation. If you don't answer that, you're the one that's running. Because I'm asking for clarification. Now go ahead. And by the way, if you don't answer this question, bro, this conversation's over. But go ahead.
I got you. The reason that would make our explanation more plausible is because when we look at textual interpretation, we assume the conventions used by the author, we assume that they are consistent in their manner of speech. So we wouldn't assume that just because Jesus got this one detail wrong, then it must be a metaphor. No, that must first assume that he's God. Okay, that's ridiculous. So
wait, ridiculous according to who? Ridiculous according to who?
Yeah, this is crazy.
Ridiculous according to who? Ridiculous according to who? Ridiculous? No. I'm not gonna let you run from that. Hold on, because I actually agree. I actually agree with what you said, but you just buried yourself. You just buried yourself. Thank you very much. You just buried, but hey, according to who is that ridiculous?
You got me, man. All right,
I'm gonna drop you again. We're gonna continue this conversation, and you're not going to shift away, smuggle in presuppositions and not explain yourself. Not going to happen on this live. So I agree with you. If you're going to come in and use evidence as plausibility, if you're only going to isolate parables and say, well, this every other time he wasn't hyperbolic and he was literal the whole way, and this other time, yes, I would agree with you. If we're only using that data, then fine, you have a fair point. But in our paradigm, that's not the only data that we have. According to the rest of the data, and you admitted it, you said the only way that you can say that this is plausible for it to be hyperbolic in my interpretation would be with the assumption that he's God. You dismissed that being possible by saying it's ridiculous. According to who? Because according to Mark, we do see that there's an assumption that he is God. Therefore, admitting that my interpretation will still be plausible, unless you can prove that Mark does not believe he's God. So go ahead. Please explain that.
Yeah, I got you. So we've got a few different places where Jesus seems to make him self-distinct from God. We've got places like Mark 10:18, and we've also got when Jesus is doing, He's doing miracles in his hometown. Mark says that Christ was not able to do miracles in his hometown. Matthew changes it to he did not do miracles in his hometown. We've got a consistent theme from Mark.
What does that have to do with? What does that have to do with Mark believing he is God, dude? What does that have to do with anything?
That has a lot. Okay, wait, hold on.
Let's go.
God.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait. So you think God could lack the ability to do miracles?
No, he had the ability to do miracles. That's not what the verse is saying.
Okay, so why did Matthew conveniently change this?
We're talking about Mark.
He didn't do miracles.
Wait, hold on.
Why did Matthew?
You're smuggling in a new argument. You're smuggling in a new argument. I want to know. You're smuggling in a new argument. So KhalidDawah, you made a claim. You came back up here to address the claim that you need to now justify. You said it's ridiculous to assume that he is God. According to what standard? That's what you're supposed to be up here answering. Now you're trying to smuggle in a new argument. So according to what are you making the claim that this is ridiculous? Go ahead.
I'm telling you. So you already agreed with me. We know the intention of the author based off of their consistent usage of language throughout the text. That's
not entirely what I admitted. No.
Right? Okay, but that is, you do agree.
Are you gonna address my question?
Oh my brother, I'm clarifying. Do you agree?
I don't know what, brother. We already established all of that. You made.
If Mark believes that
KhalidDawah, dude, this is now starting to piss me off that I can't have a regular conversation. You said it is ridiculous. You said to assume Jesus is God is ridiculous. You dismissed that even being possible. Why did you say that? What's your justification for that?
I got you. So firstly, I already said that we know that the author of Mark doesn't believe that Jesus is God because we've got various places where he's comfortable with Jesus not being able to do things, Jesus making the distinction between himself and God.
Why does that mean he's not God? Wait, why does that mean he's not God? Why does that mean he's not God?
So God can,
what's your justification for that?
You believe God can blunder and not be able to do miracles as well?
Is that what Mark said? He blundered?
it says that he was not able to do miracles in his hometown, and he blunders on the mustard seed. So
What, wait, what is that? Hold on. Why does that mean he's not? Why does that mean he's not God? Because he wasn't able to do it in his hometown.
What do you mean? Why does it mean he's not God? If he can't do miracles, then he's definitely not God.
Wait. You're taking this. You're taking that statement. You're taking that statement. Notice what happened now. Another presupposition. So this is the type of stuff that happens when you're bringing these guys bring these arguments. It's one assumption after the other, and they go around with 100 different presuppositions, and that they don't want to have to explain, and then they hope you just give up. I'm not going to give up. I want you to know. I want you to justify why that is literal right there. Why do you take that as to be hyper literal, that Jesus had no capabilities to do miracles? Go ahead, answer the question.
All right. So, as I was saying, it's going to be cumulative. So, if we give you examples of Mark's authorship all throughout the gospel, and you're just going to say,
what was my question?
Well, no, that's not how it works.
What was my question, bro?
The whole entire point is,
hey, hello. We're not a modern day debate where it's your time to monologue and whatever it is that you want. You're on my live, dude.
Hey, let me speak.
Hey, answer my question. Hey, answer my question. Why are you taking the interpretation that he wasn't able to do miracles? Okay, we're going to do this again. Apparently this works. Every time I drop him, we reset. I invite him back up. He gets back on track for about a minute or two, and then he goes off the rails with the rhetoric. Okay, let's do this again. My question was, you're saying that in Mark, because it says he wasn't able to do miracles, you're taking that as hyper literal, meaning that he had no capabilities of doing miracle, therefore he's not God. Why are you interpreting it that way? Please. What's the justification for that?
Yo, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep. What's the justification for that, please?
Sweet. Okay, perfect. I got you. So when it comes to these specific statements, we're going to couple them together to look at the intention of the offer. All right. So, for example, when you said about Jesus not being able to do miracles, this is far less likely if the offer believed that Jesus was God, because we expect them to give high reverence to God, and we expect them to give a, use a language which assumes that Christ can do all things. This is more expected. This is something we would expect from Mark. Now, we also have...
Hold on. I gotta stop you right there. 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 Because you think I don't...
Come on, man.
You think... No. You're going into a new point. I'm not gonna let you do it. Oh, boy. All right. Time to go, bro. I can't do this.